Okay. Chav Zayin. Shiras Shvatim lichusam lachlus uma. So the forgetting Shvatim forgetting their yichus is a preparation for the unity of the nation. Idea zikron shechiluk Shvatim isa goes goremes. Through the divisiveness of Shvatim is caused golus. This goes back, to the time of the Shoftim when the Shvatim were not cooperate with each other to the detriment of Am Yisrael. Most wars were very local after Yeshua, obviously. Most wars are very local and only entailed certain Shvatim coming to the assistance of others. So later on, when we divide up to northern and southern kingdoms, so this was very much debilitated the nation, both spiritually and militarily. And of course, in between, we had the terrible story with Pilekish Begiva, where everybody joined up against Binyamin, and Binyamin against everybody else, almost decimated the entire Shevet. So all this terrible tragedies, culminating in the Golos Bayis Rishon, were caused by the division into Shvatim. Shloch Shevet Yichulak Mipray Legamri Close Uma. Each Shevet was divided and separated completely from the totality of nation. And this is something which, in different guises, has been a problem throughout Am Yisrael's history. I don't know if Rav Kook is referring specifically to things like Ashkenazim versus Sephardim, Hasidim versus Misnagdim, the Charedim versus Datiyim, and so on and so forth. But the tribalism is a very big issue, which has been divisive in the Jewish nation from the beginning. So much so that one could, wonder why HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted it this way. Why should there be tribes? What point is there if it's just because there's all this divisiveness? Um, the Eretz HaNachrius, the poison of strangeness, of feeling different, would penetrate into the various special and isolated, specialized and isolated parts of the nation. But the flip side of this is that by forgetting this individuality, this these distinctions, nisraba bilbo vayarbuf, there became much more a confusion and mix-ups. Look at tefillos michas kol shevet ne'atzmo b'tikkun mizbablu, not just the tefillos which are appropriate. And Rav Kook is going with this Kabbalistic idea, which I don't think is necessarily borne out anywhere explicitly in Chazal, other than in Kabbalah, that each shevet has its own unique tefillos, which are appropriate for that shevet in itself, b'tikkun olam, and fixing the world, right? And this would imply that every shevet has a unique shar and shemaim, as you know, when we discussed that Nuschari holds that they're the 13th shar, and that anybody who doesn't know their shar, which according to Nuschari means everybody, should come through the shar koilo, through the general shar of the 13th gate. But uh, according to the Kabbalah and according to classic Kabbalah, yeah, if you know your gate, you're supposed to go with your gate, right, and not go to the 13th gate. So um, that got mixed up when they forgot the division of Shishvatim. Kim kol chaim, because of all the values of life, inner and outer. Um, Kol all of the characteristics, shel haragoshos, of the sensations, halimudim, of the studies, haminogim, of the customs, v'adrakos, and the council. Each one in its place adds fixing and adds light. Or v'chaim, that adds light and life. Mat'im, which is appropriate, im helach nefesh hashivtis, with the the progress of the soul of the shevet. When someone builds its world, the shevet's world. And sometimes it pollutes and destroys structure. We also move puff when it's enveloped, when it loses its pedigree. and it's involved in arrangements which are not of its essence. Nam kozim say vrak tzarvi are going to write, but all this only causes anguish and difficulty in a temporary way. But in the internal aspect of life, chayohi haneshama koleles. This survives and this salutes the sharakol of the Ari. The neshama, the general soul, which is aroused by erasing the individual lines. If the pleasantness and the arrangement and obviously the harmony of many parts is diminished, and a bitterness and spiritual and physical afflictions connect to all of these. Nevertheless, even though it causes me difficulty and anguish, Dodi, my beloved, causes me Ben Shaddai Eli, he still resides in my intimate area. He resides in me intimately. So he's going back and forth, Rav Kook. He's saying that, you know what, there's an aesthetic, at least, but he's saying much more than that, a holy aspect to each individual Shevet having its own individual avodah. But nevertheless, even though that unique aspect is lost if you diminish the individuality of the Shvatim, nevertheless, there is a connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, which remains strong, and perhaps even strong. We talk Achdusa Blula, out of unity, which is mixed together. Hamleo Buv, which is full of I guess
Confusion.
confusion, yeah. The chesun tzidor and lack of arrangement. Yatzal oraton chaim musudar. Nevertheless, it comes out to light and a content of life which is fixed and arranged. Sheigala they'll be revealed and seen. But fast or chaim shokula Yeshua in the manifestation of a light of life of redemption and of salvation. So Rav Kook has oscillated back and forth to the point where he's again against the division of Shvatim, because ultimately the deficits won't be able to overcome its deficits sufficiently, and ultimately the geulah comes from much more from unity than from division. Am Yisrael go back to its proper base, the koach shvatov and the power of its tribes. Yoshuv Elav Bachlus Harmonious will come back also in the end. The power of the Shvatim will come back in a harmonious unity after the geulah comes. So I think Rav Kook is advocating in not so overt, not so covert way that the divisions between the factions in Ham Yisrael, which existed and continue to exist throughout the past 150 years or so, they're detrimental. You can say that some of those divisions are good because you have different darchei avodah and different types of connection to Kodesh Baruch Hu, but they're not serving us well in progressing towards the geulah.
It's good to be part of a group, because that's, surrounds you with your people that can strengthen you. But it's not good to think that you're the only group that's right.
Yes. So, but he sees it as almost a zero-sum game, at least in the present, right? Either you have universal achdus or you have identification as a shevet. It sounds like you have to pull on one in order to be able to push on the other.
I don't think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu intended that they should be mutually exclusive. I think he wanted us to take out the positive aspects from both things. I think that was the idea, or the goal, or the ultimate try thing to do. But of course, human beings are a very, very contentious lot, and it doesn't always work that way.
Right. So there's difference in the idea. Of course, I'll agree that that's the ideal. Question is what the short term expedient perspective is. So v'otavor natzon they and the sheep will all pass individually to be counted. And referring to the Mizbech that Eliyahu Navi built in Har Carmel of the 12 stones. So that'll come back. Like I assume that's the pasuk there, like the 12 tribes of the children of Yaakov. Asher Devar Hashem Elov Lemor, that Hashem said to him, Yisroel Yeshmecha. Aidel Yom Malach Abris. So comes to Eliyahu. Hashem Elaz Nikra Idekin So Hashem Hu Elokim. That since that time that he was called through his zealotry, not sure. Hashem Elaz Nikra Idekin So Hashem Elokim. Nikra or Hikara, it should be Kara maybe. Shemaz Karai, they can also, from the time he called out through his kin, Hashem Elokim, Olechu Vaved Avodas HaShalom. He goes and he works at the work of peace. Mashiv Lev Avos Abanim, Lev Banim Avosim, to restore the fathers to the sons and the sons to the father. So I guess it's Kinat Hashem Elokim was something which is not necessarily divisive, and he's the one who was supposed to bring harmony under that banner of Hashem Elokim. By the light of which Eliyahu Navi brings of the secrets of Torah on high. I'm not sure actually if he's saying Eliyahu brings it, but the way it works is that the tools are the secrets of Torah, which are in common for all of Am Yisrael. In other words, Pnimius of Torah. Even if in halacha, let's say, there are different halachas which are appropriate for each shevet, but the Pnimius is the same for all Shvatim. In other words, outer manifestations of Avodas Hashem, there can be different ones for each Shvatim, particularly in Tefillah. But the inner essence of Hashem Elokim, which is the secret of Torah on high, that's Holech V'Shotef. It goes and it flows in Knesset, and it bursts out into all of its activities. Askanasel, all of its involvement, Sifra Osel, all of its literature, Tikva Osel, all of its hopes, Vavodosel, all of its service. And it's manifested in different ways. Mikodesh Michol, whether sacred or mundane. Maybe in construction and in destruction. But they're all involved in I guess even the destructive forces have some sort of task to play in the construction internally and externally. The specific and general construction. Raising up, above rising up, I should say, or maybe going up above and beyond the chukha karosam, the circle of cognition. Shekol polim bavdim atzmam. It seems that he's saying that if Am Yisrael is working together and forsaking all its even its natural, even its God-given divisions, then the sum is greater than the sum is greater than the the total is greater than the sum of the parts, something like that. Okay, so there is some sort of purpose which is above the circle of cognition of the workers themselves, and much higher than all of their own personal narrow goals. Hashem, it only follows the counsel of Hashem, who gave counsel to his nation to find the end a destiny and a hope. At the end of time, you'll be able to understand this to a greater extent. So, as we said throughout the piece, Kook goes back and forth between the advantages, but evidently, in the final analysis, he says the more advantageous for us in this period of time is to diminish the divisiveness and increase the unity. And probably he's also speaking about, because he's Rav Kook, and he's speaking in the time and place where he's speaking, not just with other religious Jews, but rather even with the secular Zionists. In other words, Rav Kook felt that this unity is eventually what's going to bring people back, and therefore we have to have this idea of unity across tribalism, even tribalism which separates us from each other by spiritual tribalism, not just by religious tribalism.
It's almost ironic that people thought, oh, now we have the land of Israel. We're going to put aside all our differences and unite in a united cause to build the land and to bring our people back to life after the Holocaust. But the land of Israel itself is quite a divisive place.
Yes, which is, of course, not what Rav Kook would have told us. Rav Kook would have told us somehow that Eretz Yisrael brings everybody together in harmony. I think.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's what he was writing for, and the purpose really of all of these small pieces is to delineate the advantages and the great light that is available should we choose to follow a unified path.
Right. Okay, we started Lamed last time. Let's go back to Lamed.
Okay.
We have to arouse Am Yisrael, all the powers which are embedded in the nation. Of its Torah, of its belief, of its character traits, it's called its goodness, of its riches, of its strength, all of its thoughts, and all of its song, and all of its essence, all of the warmth of its life, all of its intelligence and its intellect, and all of its what's the word merits? Not effort, but something like that. It's diligence, maybe it's not quite the right word, but it's there's a word. The word's not occurring to me at the moment. Let's look it up.
Maybe devotion.
No. Vigor.
Ah, yeah.
Okay. Uh, B'chomer Tzavin is a chonkish understand all of the victory of its talents. As Koros Kulam, all the lights Shebukubkir within Am Yisrael Tzrichim Lotzimi Kabiyona Gnisa had moved from the secret of the hiding place, Lorachim, to the light of life. Achusha Ruchani Ra Avuka Ola, the spiritual sensation sees the torch of Israel rising. Me'eretz Yisrael. Call everything flowers out of Eretz Yisrael. Otsa Garinei Shamos. Everything flowers from the treasure trove of these seeds. The Shama Shama Shamahu. This all everything blossoms in Eretz Yisrael. Mitzil Miklayofi. From Zion comes the totality of beauty. Every individual Am Yisrael has, before it talks about now talk about individuals, has their own seed in Eretz Yisrael, which is rested in the inner spirit, which with a powerful yearning and love. Whether it's revealed or concealed, it's only a difference in level, but it's there. But the connection of soul is there. Shall have its Eish HaKodesh, and the flame of the holy fire has to take hold from all the powers. From the powers which are internal and external. From those who retain their true character, and they haven't been faced outwards. And those powers which, because of the depth of the ghost, or on other accounts, earlier or later, the character has been blurred. The general pronouncement will take everything. Certainly relates to the piece we just saw. And in the foundation of general life for Am Yisrael, Omek HaTshuva Ganus. The depths of tshuva is hidden because the tshuva comes from the mutual support and the mutual revelation of the inner essence. Recognizing the eternal justice of the nation, which recognizes its own higher truth. And the extensiveness or expansiveness of all the desired aspects of Osher Olami and all of the satisfaction world. L'shem kol chukos in order to achieve all of the more permanent, eternal desires and the more glorious desires. Lagi kol tov and to join together everything which is good and beautiful. All the justice and all the righteousness in every corner. The kasher is called to unite all of it in his gov and uplift it. As all that which is splendid and sanctified completely. Hakol Yisrael made Romans everything we uplifted in its loftiness. Vim Goydel have Taveras Lav Hakodesh L'Romos Skuv with a tremendous burning flame of sanctity to up which is there to cause one to want to uplift and elevate. Well, every content, every quest will help in this drive. To better the situation of life, no matter how, physical or material, physical, spiritual or physical, in any manner of description. As he said last week, he's talking about not just spiritual, but also physical strength. And of course, ethical strength. Ometz pnimi, an inner courage, geulah, and a great courage, adinus, which at the same time is refined and not coarse like normally courage is. Expanding Torah and fulfilling and filling with wisdom. The amplification of spirituality and the manifestation. I think it means bifoel. The practical application. Emphasizing the form of life, and intensifying general brotherhood. Beyond Am Yisrael, evidently. Desire for peace, for the general desire for peace, and the desire for universal satisfaction. With the health of the body and the brilliance of the spirit, of the intellect. Hitziasus name Melachim, to be able to stand in front of kings. But Yisarvus ben Abrios, at the same time have common ground with all creatures. Kolash they rose from all the avenues. He's Bodul Selyoina, meditation on high, Biskashus Primus with an internal connection, to the purpose of life in the world, the Matos Avaya for the purpose of existence, Berazi Razeh in the secret of its secrets, Faritzo Shiltikunim by his Odus Ruach, all the runs of fixing and encouraging spirit, I guess each person, other people as well. Everything has to be enveloped together. Everything demands its purpose in this great drive, and calls in a great voice, Uri, Uri, arise, arise. So this is a very inspirational piece, not a little bit short on substance, very good on inspiration, that there has to be a unity which uplifts everything and brings everything to a higher level in all aspects of life, and that's really what brings about the geulah, a national awakening, as he ends over here.
Yeah, I think he felt that during his time we were at either an inflection point or a turning point, or an Uda, or whatever you want to call it. That there was an opportunity for real change and unity, and a different attitude and things like that.
Yep. And we messed up. Okay, maybe he'll come back someday. All right, have a good day. Have a good week.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.